All right. Here we go. Happy Sunday. Hope everybody had a good day. Give a minute, try to let some people get in here. Sitting here getting a text from my cousin saying that a rookie just went to pole position in quals with two drivers left for the Indy 500. So impressive there. That's going to be interesting to watch this year. Can a rookie come in and win the Indy 500? That'd be quite the accomplishment. Oh, and sitting here, I guess a tweet from a few minutes ago. Scotty Scheffler got arrested at last year's PGA Championship, ends up winning this year's PGA Championship. Very nice. Very, very nice. What's going on, everybody? What's up? Hey, appreciate people getting in here. What's up? What's up? Sco, Donald, Hoosier Sports Network. Appreciate you guys hopping in here. Appreciate you guys coming to join it. Gonna be a bit of a lengthier conversation. I'm not gonna lie to you. This one's gonna be a bit of a lengthy one, like the thumbnail says. Gonna be going through the schedule, a bit of a deep dive, and want to go through. And we'll kind of make our predictions together. Right, of course. I'll be sitting here talking about, my opinion, but we'll also be, as I go through, I'm going to try to remember to be doing polls as we go through so that you guys can have your vote on what you think as we talk about these things. Hey, Daniel, J.A., appreciate y'all coming in here. What's up, y'all? So there was something that was meant when I did my video about AR. Like I talked about what I saw, I didn't show the videos, and somebody had commented about like after I got done with it and like it was uploaded, like I went through to make sure there was no mess ups or anything, and I realized that I didn't put the videos into it, which was an oversight on my part. So I'm sitting here, I'm trying to look at the exact videos that I was thinking of. There's one that the Colts put out. Maybe it's here after the schedule. Yeah, it's going to be back here. 1 second. Yeah, it's this video. It's where I got the AR picture from. Let's see. And then let's go here and here. All right, decent view. Oh, wait, I can play you guys the audio because there's no real music in this. When I see you. Oh, no, this is not the right video. My apologies. This is a karaoke video that's like the exact same length. I don't know. I can't currently find the video. Oh, it's probably this next one right next to it. Okay, whoa. Right, so what I paid attention to in this video to gather from is just looking at the different things AR is doing. Obviously, like we talked about, this is, if you didn't see the video, as we had talked about, you're not going to take away a whole lot from this video. You're just looking at things, things need to look the right way, right? And in the past, it wasn't always like that with AR. Like you could still see things in his footwork, like the jumpiness in his footwork, where his feet are angling, right? How he's marrying, right, his hips and his shoulders, and how it's all working, like his mechanics, like the breakdown of quarterback mechanics, and really looking at that is really all I'm trying to see is like improvements, right? Like, does it look the way it's supposed to? And that's really the point I want to make is if it looks the way it's supposed to now, then as he has done the work throughout this offseason, does this work here with the team, and then goes back into doing his work in the offseason, then we're going to be at a point where He's creating those habits, continuing to do it, and then boom, it's muscle memory as time continues to go on, which is exactly what we're looking for. Just to continue to fine tune, continue to get better, continue to work to make himself as good as possible. So going through this, that's really all I look for. Again, and there's not, this isn't going to blow you away. There's some good and I guess one thing a lot of people commented on was like, one guy in this video kind of separates himself from the other. Like, it just looks different than the others. So if you hadn't seen this video, then here we go. And all the quarterbacks are in it. Anthony, Daniel Jones, Jason Bean. There's Riley Leonard. Jason Bean there, a bit of a wobbler that they put in there. I mean, Anthony's ripping it, dude. I mean, it's so easy for him, bro. So casual. Yeah, there's the deep shot. Right on the money. I mean, it's just, pardon me for being excited. There was one guy that had a comment that I really appreciated, and because he talked about like something about me being hopeful, and you got to listen to the whole video and see exactly what I said, because which is the case for all of them. Like I'm the kind of person, like, I will make cases for both sides. I generally fall somewhere in the middle, at least, and at the very least, I just try to understand both sides. So we talk about both sides of things all the time. So kind of important to see the whole video, especially if you're going to be in the comment section, trying to talk about, oh, well, this is what you said, but da-da-da-da. And a lot of times, you just listen to the rest of the video. I'm probably going to cover it at some point, whatever you're trying to get at me about. But I'm hopeful for AR this year. Think that he's going to be good. And I think the improvements are going to be exactly what this team needs, right? You think about where we're at, think about like all the talent that we have on this team, and at least that we think we have on this team, and if we can just get consistent quarterback play, then we'll have a real idea of what this team can do, what this team is capable of, and it's about time to figure that out, right? Chris Ballard, been here long enough. It's time for his rosters to finally get it pieced together and to figure it out, and hopefully we're able to do that this year. Comes down to AR, yeah, 100%. Pacers versus Knicks is going to be crazy. There's a lot of stuff that I've seen on the internet over the last couple days, and like that bad blood from the Reggie days. A little bit of that spilled over into last year. And now, honestly, I mean, the Pacers have the same team, but a lot of their players, like especially the role players, like got better. But even, Hallie's continued to get better, and he's insanely clutch. But a lot of the role players have gotten a lot better for the Pacers from year to year, from what I've seen. And then, of course, the Knicks, healthier this year. They got better from year to year, got more talent by getting Karl Anthony Towns. And Karl Anthony Towns was a problem for the Pacers. Pacers 2-1 against the Knicks in the regular season. So going to be interesting. But I think Mathurin has gone kind of crazy against the Knicks. I could be mistaken, but I think he got 25.3 points, I think is what I saw. Average 25.3 points. So maybe he can be a key factor in this series, which would be great. Sko coming in with a donation. Appreciate you, brother. Hell yeah, my guy. Love you, bro. Appreciate you hosting us this year. I'm finally back in the States. Going to be at both LA games this season. Okay, back in the States. Hell yeah. And going to be at both of the LA games. That's awesome. Those are going to be bangers too, bro. Like as long as both of those LA teams are healthy and AR is looking pretty good, then those are going to be some really good games. Anticipate both those teams to be playoff caliber teams. So that's going to be incredible, dude. Hell yeah. Glad to have you back over here in the States. Yeah, got to be better on third down. I mean, for sure, for sure. There's no really arguing that. Got to be more consistent. Um, right, but you got to put yourself in position. That's why quarterbacking matters. Like, of all the small things that can become big things, you talk about third downs and the efficiency. It's a quarterback that can get you into second and manageable, right? Second and 3, second and 4, second and 5, so that you can get yourself into a good third down situation where you're at, third and 2, third and 3, whatever the case may be able to manage the game to make it easier for the team, and you're able to convert those third downs. That's why the Eagles are so effective, because Jalen Hurts doesn't get the credit he deserves for how much of a game manager, right? Game manager he is. He's just a good quarterback and a knowledgeable quarterback, and puts his team in favorable situations. Now, they run a lot, so Saquon obviously was a massive part of that, and the Eagles just run anyways. But and there are different reasons for different things. But just being able to get into manageable situations, right? Even if you get into third and short, or I'm sorry, fourth and short, and then right, fourth and 1 situations, fourth and 2 situations. But if you got the guys up front and the dogs on your offense, then you trust them, just like Philly does, to be able to continue to get production. And then, of course, on defense, with the massive question mark of how much talent is really on the defense. Do the secondary additions really change this defense? Does the coaching change this defense? That's what's going to be interesting as we go forward, and that's going to be a thing. Because my thought is, yes, I do think new defensive coordinator, new scheme is going to make a big difference as we talk about the schedule. And I think it's going to be massive, specifically in week 1 against the Dolphins. Thinking about that team and the Dolphins being healthy, right? It's going to be a challenge this year. We have some challenging games against some teams, a decent amount of teams that I think are playoff kind of teams. So it's going to be difficult, but I think the defense, I think we do have dogs on defense. And I think the more aggressive approach on defense is certainly going to help this defense without question. Yeah, exactly, bro. I'm not going to be apologetic for being on the AR train and hoping that he succeeds. Not one bit. So once again, appreciate you guys hopping in. Appreciate you, Sco, throwing a little donation in there, man. Back in the States. Hell yeah, brother. Going to be at 2 Colts games this year. That's one thing. Because I'm trying to get to training camp, I'm probably not going to make it to a Colts game unless I go to the Jacksonville game, which Jacksonville is kind of a ways away from me, so I don't know if I'm going to do that. But man, love going to Colts games. It's awesome that you're actually going to be able to go to 2 now that you're back over here in the States. All right, but now that we're getting some people in here, let's get into what we're all here for, right? Sitting here talking about the Colts schedule and what we have upcoming. Okay, so as we look at this, let me go back and find a full Colts schedule. Okay, share this with you guys. Right, so of course, we start week 1 with the Miami Dolphins. So as we sit here, we look at the Dolphins, and I'm not entirely sure if you guys can see it. Let me go ahead and let me come over here. I'll try to stretch this out for you guys so you can get a better view of this. All right. Move this around. All right, so that should be a little easier for you guys. Hopefully that makes it a little better for you guys. So what we're looking at here, I would say the Dolphins from year to year, like initially I thought they had gotten worse. The guys at Dolphins Syndicate, one of those guys ended up let me know, like, nah, we definitely got better here. So as I sit here and look at it, I mean, really, they've built good depth at different places. They obviously have the high-end talent on offense with Achane, Waddle, and Hill. They filled in with some good backups at wide receiver. Jonnu Smith was really good for them. I think really their only downside on offense is going to be their offensive line, which is a pretty huge deal. Obviously, when you're talking about offenses, it's been pretty apparent as Colts fans. And of course, watching the Eagles, right, we see that offensive line play is massive to the success of what you're going to be able to do. And we experienced that a couple of years ago in 2022 when everything just kind of fell apart. So I think overall, offensive line might be really the thing that ends up costing the Dolphins a playoff season, right? Thinking about what they've lost, obviously, Armstead, their tackle, probably a Hall of Fame tackle one day. He ends up retiring. They've brought some guys in. But will it be enough, right? And I'm not going to sit here and act like I know who each one of these guys are. I know some of these names. But again, it's not like high-end offensive talent, in my opinion. Obviously, Alec Ingold in there. Shout out to the fullback position. Doesn't get enough love. So the offense is dangerous, dude. When Tua, the numbers speak for themselves for the Dolphins. When Tua plays, for everything you want to say. When Tua plays, the Dolphins' offense is so good. So good, right? Especially with Devon Achane in there. And now they have, and I didn't even realize this until I looked at this, Devon Achane, Jalen Wright, Alexander Madison, and they drafted Ollie Gordon. Really liked Ollie Gordon coming out. I know a lot of Colts fans did, and they end up getting another running back, right? Like they don't even have to bring Raheem Mostert back because they're still loaded at running back. They have a couple of number 2 running backs, and then Ollie Gordon. And what his potential is. So the offense definitely good here. Right, Jonnu Smith, definitely a weapon. I think he had a really good game against us. The Gus Bradley defense over the past few years just wasn't good against tight ends. I'm pretty sure Jonnu Smith was a part of that and kind of destroying us, honestly. Had a really good game against we won that game against the Dolphins, of course, but Jonnu Smith had a really good game. Now, the defense is going to be interesting because I think their defense from my expectation, overperformed last year. I thought they were going to take a step back. Seemingly got better, but as the year went on, right, injuries on that defense, so they teetered off. But I think their defensive coordinator that they got came in, and I thought he did a good job with what he had. Now, obviously, Xavier Howard. Not like it actually, secondary completely different. Jalen Ramsey not supposed to be there. From what this team was a couple of years ago, like I don't even recognize it, bro. Honestly, sitting here, like I know the names Cam Smith and Artie Burns, but honestly, like this is a completely different secondary than what they've had in the past. So that's going to be a big question mark, and that's going to be a big reason. Hey, can we come out at home in week 1, which the Colts continue to lose, and can we find a way to win this game, right? They went and drafted Kenneth Grant in the middle, and that's the pick right before we were able to get Tyler Warren. So shout out for them keeping Jonnu Smith. And Jalen Phillips is really good. He's developed into a really good edge rusher. Chop Robinson coming into the NFL, thought he would be really good. It'll be interesting to see what happens in his second year. They still have Bradley Chubb there, but what can they really get from him? In and out of lineup all the time. I really like Willie Gay, and obviously Jordan Brooks here. So they definitely have some names on the defense. But again, and shout out to the Dolphins, guys. If they end up seeing this, brother, I'm sorry. I just don't think this roster, and when you look at the Colts roster, like, are you really going to sit here and tell me we should lose week 1? Outside of us having a week 1 curse. Let's just assume Anthony Richardson wins the job. He's good enough, right? The work he put in the offseason, like he's actually getting better like most people do in anything they do. You continue to work at it. You continue to get better. Let's assume he gets a little bit better. He's able to manage things better. He's continuing to mature, and he's able to handle the situation as we go into week 1 at home. Anthony Richardson, Jonathan Taylor, Khalil Herbert, DJ Giddens, Tyler Goodson, if you want to include him. Receivers stacked. Like Alec Pierce breakout last year. A.D. Mitchell continuing to develop and mature and get better. Josh Downs just waiting to bust out as a superstar. And, of course, trusty number 1, dog, Michael Pittman Jr., right? We draft Tyler Warren. Hopefully Jelani Woods can stay healthy and we can find a way to use him and he can, get his career going back in the right way. Offensive line, feel good about it, bro. Even if we don't do anything, like if it's just like this, if Gonzalez does end up playing guard, which from comments after the draft from Ballard and Steichen kind of feels like that might happen, but we'll see. But I feel good about it. I feel good about the offense. And the defense, again, with the assumption that the more aggressive style is going to benefit these guys greatly. The dudes we have on this team, specifically, this aggressive style defense is going to suit them because what does Chris Ballard do? Chris Ballard, specifically in the secondary and at that corner position, getting long guys that can put their hands on people. Ward, and especially Jones. Jones got that dog in him. Jones is big, he's long, and he's built really well. So, and Kenny, of course, Kenny lightning in a bottle. He can put his hands on anybody from that slot position. So we have guys in the secondary that can put pressure on guys. We have guys that can be physical and take bodies with them, right? And I think when you have Quiddy on his fifth-year option, I'm kind of excited to see what happens in a new style of defense for Quiddy, right? The reins being pulled off of the guys on that front line. How does that go for Quiddy? I'm really excited to see what happens with him this year. Can he turn his career around, right? Going, after this year, who knows what the number is for him? Who knows where he's going to be? Is he just going to be a depth piece for the rest of his career, right? What would be his role? Does he just fade away like Yannick Ngakoue? Or can he have a really good season here, 10-plus sacks, and find a way to go get paid somewhere and be effective in another aggressive defense, right? But either way, I think we have a lot of guys that are going to benefit from that aggressive style. Of course, Latu, him just being on the field more is going to be really good. He just got to – I think there's some things in his timing, right, coming into the NFL. A lot of guys talk about, hey, things are going faster. You got to figure things out. I think the experience from last year, continuing to train and knowing what to expect, I think that step where he probably could have had a couple more sacks last year, he's going to speed it up. And I think his development's going to go just the way we want it to. I think he's going to be really effective. JTT, I've said it multiple times, but I think JTT by the end of the year, I think he's really going to start to ascend. I'm really excited to see what Sampson can do. He was really good for us in that first year, and then of course the injury that kept him out all of last year. But really excited to see, can he have a bounce back year and what can he provide? Tommy Ade could play on the edge, which is exciting. So just looking at this defense, and this is, I know we're kind of overviewing the defense a lot right now. We're not going to do this for all of them, but just baseline here for those that don't understand how I feel about the defense, okay, based on my opinion of this defense and what we're going to be able to do this year. I think we could easily be a top 10 unit. And with this secondary, this ridiculous secondary of starters, and then Juju, if he can stay healthy and kind of be a secret weapon for us on defense, like the offense, Anthony Richardson, 8-7 as a starter. The offense with Anthony Richardson, even when the offense is trash throughout the day, we find a way to put up 20 points most of the time. Like, it's just the way it is. They will find a way to put up points. And I think the defense is going to be able to keep points off the board. That's important as we go into this conversation about all the teams that we're going to be playing. So against the Dolphins, of course, the challenge week one, when all these guys are healthy, all these guys are as fresh as they're going to be. This is going to be an immense challenge for a defense that is changing everything and is still trying to figure it out on the fly. That's going to be the main challenge for the Colts week one, is that they're getting tested by one of the toughest offensive units when healthy. So hard to stop. Tua, Hill, Waddle, Achane, Smith. So hard to stop. Nick Westbrook-Akina, somebody the Colts are familiar with from Tennessee. Then Malik Washington is included in the depth there as well. So overall, it should be a good game week 1. And of course, I'm going to get people saying I'm a homer, but you can say what you want. This is a W. Okay. All right. Now the question. Okay, there we go. All right. So week 1 against the Dolphins, I think we come away with a win. So now, excuse me. Let me pull my keyboard over. Who will win week 1? Colts. Dolphins. All right. So, you guys vote on the poll. Who wins week 1? Want to know what you guys think. And we'll, as we go, make sure to keep track to see where you guys are at. Okay, but like I said, I think Colts come away in the week 1 curse and finally get a win against the Dolphins at home and start the year up 1-0. Tennessee is a fun place. That's what I've heard. Tennessee being a fun place. I've heard that in the past, specifically Nashville. I don't know about all of Tennessee, but specifically Nashville. How much money we got to raise for you go? I don't even know, dude. Like, it's Jacksonville. Honestly, I don't even know the answer to that question. Random thought. Are the Colts bad at developing quarterbacks? Are the Colts bad at developing quarterbacks? That's such an interesting question because it's hard to answer, honestly. I mean, I guess evidence would say so. But I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're teaching. It's an interesting question, but for sure, you know, at least at the moment, yeah, seems like it. But that's also, kind of why it's a good thing. Hey, AR, getting the off-season training that Josh Allen got, right, with the people that he worked with. So there's that as well. So who's the next one? Denver Broncos. Oh. Can't just have the W staying on the screen. Okay. Well, that's not going to work the way I thought it was going to work. Oh, let's see here. History repeats itself. I would beat the Colts. I would beat the Colts, lose week 1 in the away games at Jacksonville. Really hope I'm wrong, but I can't and keep having hope. Yeah, I feel you. Like, it just feels like going to Jacksonville, automatic loss. Feels like week 1. Seems like automatic loss, but, at some point, things have to change. And I just think we're at a point in the Steichen regime and the expectation. I think more, in my opinion, this is completely my opinion. I don't know anything. It's completely my opinion. I just think we're at a point where now Steichen probably getting more control. If I had to guess, like, everybody loves Steichen. All the players, like, seemingly would take a bullet for Steichen, right? Like, from everything you've ever heard from any of the players, they love Steichen so much, and it feels like he might be getting more control, and it feels like, things could sway. I have faith in Steichen. I know some people will think that's ridiculous. I have a lot of faith in Steichen, And so if that's the case, then I think things can change. Now we're getting new defense. So again, taking the leash off of the dogs and let the dogs go hunt, I think is really going to benefit the Colts overall in 2025. Right. So yeah. It's hard to vote knowing we're cursed, but I say we can beat the Dolphins week 1. Yeah, I feel that. Denver, that's a loss. Dolphins have drama. Off season, maybe that carries over. Yeah. I mean, if they still have Jalen Ramsey on the team, for sure. But I feel like once they get rid of Ramsey, all their drama kind of ends. How is the first quarterback we've tried to develop in the last decade? I mean, that's fair. Yeah, because, I mean, the only real evidence I guess you have to that would be Sam Ehlinger, because you're not developing Matt Ryan. Um, Carson Wentz, I guess, could be potentially, included in that conversation. Yeah, I guess that's a good point too. We haven't really had to develop a quarterback in quite a while. So I guess we'll see again. How much can this coaching staff really make a difference on player performance and player development? And then we're just at a point where it's got to give. Right, Chris Ballard essentially in his last season, something's got to give, and so that's what this year is going to be. All right, so now the rest of these is going to be a little bit quicker. For obvious reasons, we're not going to sit here and go over, the Colts roster every time. Now we can just kind of overview as we continue to go along here. Sorry. Business line. My bad. Wentz already had a ring. Didn't win it, but got them there. Yeah, for sure. For sure. You almost forget he has a ring. All right, but talking about the Broncos. Broncos, very good team. Broncos, a team that I expect to be really good. I have Bo Nix on my dynasty team. Thought coming in he was going to be a really good quarterback. Looked like it last year. He's the real deal. Him and Sean Payton going to be the real deal. R.J. Harvey, somebody that I'm very high on, somebody that I drafted in my dynasty this year in my dynasty rookie draft, and felt very good about R.J. Harvey. I think the potential for him is sky high. I think going in to that specific offense is going to be really effective for this offense. And then they have an offense that I like. Cortland Sutton, just really good veteran, consistent, really consistent, kind of like Pitt. Right, not like top flight superstar, but really consistent. A dog out there on the field, and can make big plays. Marvin Mims Jr., somebody that I'm into as somebody who plays fantasy. Between Marvin Mims Jr. and Devon Veal, I'm honestly not sure. I don't know enough, but I do know these two underrated. Right, and because of Bo Nix and because of the success that I think the Broncos are going to have, people are going to start to figure out who these guys are. Like Lawrence is saying there, Broncos is loaded. Broncos is loaded, bro. Their offensive line is good. They've really beefed up. I've completely forgot they signed Evan Ingram, who's torn the Colts up on a couple different occasions. Deadly offense, man. Offensive line, they continue to get better with. Quinn Miners, small school guy that is an absolute unit, an absolute dog. Mike McGlinchey, another one of those just trusted old veterans. So really like what they've done on the offense. They have a familiar name to Colts, Alex Forsyth. Some people might remember that name. And then when you look at the defense, like they got the defense too, bro. Like they signed Hufunga coming off the injury. So what's going to be able to do? Too bad J.L. Skinner, man, buried on the depth chart. Coming into the NFL, I thought he was going to be a superstar. And it hasn't really developed out that way. But they do have Pat Surtain, superstar. Gonna be he's this Riley Moss is good, bro. I mean Barron. They have a nice secondary, dog. Now Dre Greenlaw avoided a serious injury, but he is, of course, coming off the major injury last year. He played in a couple games, appeared in 1 or 2 games last year. And then, was said to have a serious injury just a couple weeks ago. Ended up not being a serious injuries, which is great news. Don't want to hear anybody getting serious injuries. But I mean, Nick Benito, I'm sorry. I don't know if you guys heard that. Nick Benito, absolute star, broke out last year, absolute star. He's a freak in that defense. Zach Allen, like JFM, DJ Jones, like really can't complain with that defense. They have a really solid defense. This is not going to be an easy game for the Colts. Right, and this is, again, game number 2, starting at home. This is a 4 o'clock game also, right? So more people going to have their eyes on this one. And, again, this is one that really is going to come down to AR, right? That quarterback position. What's our quarterback look like? How to look week 1, how we look in week 2. But because I think AR is going to get better, I think this is going to be a really competitive game. I think this is going to be an incredible game. Overall, I feel like you guys can kind of tell where I'm leaning in week 2. But I just think, the Broncos have too much for us right now. At least at the beginning of the season. Again, this team, just like JTT on defense, this is a team that I think as the year goes on, and we continue to ascend, this defense continues to be better, helps us win games. Like, this team can ascend through the year, but I think getting the Broncos week 2 is tough, especially when you're in a track meet week 1 against the Dolphins. Right, so week 2 against the Broncos, I'm going to chalk that up as a loss for the Colts. So for me, Colts start 1-1. Looks like most of you guys think that the Colts are going to be able to beat the Dolphins in week 1. Going to go ahead in that one. Start another. Just going to say week 2. Colts or Broncos. You guys let me know what you guys think in the poll. Who you think is going to win week 2? Colts, Broncos. Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton in that offense. Pat Surtain, Riley Moss in that defense. Well, how you guys feeling? Can the Colts overcome it? Do the Colts have enough on offense and defense? Can JT be a difference maker for us? You guys let me know your thoughts. Fitting perfectly for the team he was drafted by. Put a really good team together. I think we lose to the Broncos, but it'll be close. Yeah, I think week 2 has a chance to be a really good game. Hopefully it's not a more nationally televised game for us at 4 o'clock and we get blown out at home. That would not be a good look. So, hoping for a competitive game. Now, week 3 against Tennessee. Now, I know they got Cam Ward. I'm a Cam Ward believer. I'm not going to back off that just because he went to the Titans. I'm not going to say I think he's going to be trash. I've been consistent in the fact that I think Cam Ward is going to be incredible in the NFL. I do. But I think excuse me. But I think the Titans, they're just not quite there. Now, I honestly hadn't really even looked at Titans depth chart. Sitting here looking at it, right? Cam Ward, Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, Calvin Ridley. I didn't know they had Van Jefferson there too. Tyler Lockett, Traylon Burks. So pretty good wide receivers. To be honest with you, getting Tyler Lockett's a pretty big deal. Van Jefferson is a depth piece. Pretty big deal. They have a good gang of receivers there. Chigi Okonkwo, he's torn the Colts up a couple times. J.C. Latham is supposed to be good. Kevin Zeitler, one of those trusty veterans. Lloyd Cushenberry, Peter Skoronski, Dan Moore, should be an upgraded unit on the offensive line. We'll see what they're able to output. But then on the defensive side, I think is really where they're going through major change. And, I think for them, for what they've been on defense, disappointing. Now, obviously, Devondre Sweat, Jeffrey Simmons, those guys are difference makers. Those guys are game changers. Those guys can ruin a game. And those guys can win games for the Titans. They're really good. Okay, both of those guys. L'Jarius Sneed, I think, a little underperformed last year. And then throughout the rest of this secondary, I'm not going to sit here act like I know every player on every team. I know Cody Barton. I know that name. I know Arden Key as well. Amani Hooker, Xavier Woods, right? But, again, this is a game where I think, I guess putting it mildly, coaching matters. And I think even Titans fans will tell you from what we saw a lot last year, a lot would have to change, and a lot did change, right? Getting a new quarterback can change a lot. We saw with the Commanders, but I don't think the Titans changed enough. I think what we saw last year from the Titans, very lackluster. I think even with lowered expectations going into the year, they were disappointing, which is how you end up with the number 1 overall pick. So they're still in a transition phase. I don't quite think they're really going to be a team that we have to worry about this year. I think, and just to save time for later, right, we play them twice in the first 8 weeks here. I think we win both those games, home and away. I don't think it matters. I think we win both those games. Or I just don't think the Titans have the horses to keep up with us. I think Anthony's going to be better this year. I think defense is going to be better this year. So, overall, I just think we can score more points than the Titans, and that is the name of the game. Very literally, that is the name of the game, right? So, I think the Titans are going to win. Looks like. So, on both polls, we have 7 people voting. Comes out to 71-29 both times, which tells me all the same people just voted all the same ways. Maybe I'm wrong. That's very interesting. Going to end this one. I think I know what you guys are going to say for this one. But let's go week 3. Colts, Titans, start. You guys let me know what you think there. Manuel Carter coming in, dropping 5. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you hopping in. Appreciate the donation, man. Of course, y'all know you don't have to be doing all that, but I appreciate you guys, you and Sco. Sorry for the dog barking out there. Lawrence dropping in with the 5. Appreciate you, brother. I didn't even know you could do the little emote there. That's cool. Appreciate you guys, man. My people. And shout out to it always being the same people, man. I can always depend on a lot of my day ones to be in here. A lot of new people coming in here. A lot of new people recently. Just so you know, we're going to try to do stuff like this every Sunday. I'm going to try to find ways to keep you guys included and engaged and try to have fun through the dead part of this off season. Appreciate you guys, man. I think the Colts lucked out with the division schedule. Tennessee early. Yeah, 100%. And I mean, the Colts schedule's been crazy, right? We've traditionally been getting all of our, 5 out of 6 division games, early in the year. We've been getting the latest possible bye week, week 14 the last couple years. And we always lose a home game going international. It's kind of lame. I'm not in Indy anymore, but my grandpa is still a season ticket holder, just like a lot of people are. Colts continue to lose out on one home game to go international. Probably better for business. You're building your brand across the world, which is better for business. But one of these years, Colts need to make a decision to keep all 9 of those home games. Charles, what's up, brother? Appreciate you hopping in. Yeah, no problem, man. We're just chilling. Yeah, I imagine most people conversation like this, just turning it on, using as background noise, or just listening while you're watching, NHL playoffs like I'm doing. Right, but like I said, Tennessee, I think we win both the Tennessee games. But for all intents and purposes, through week 3, I have us at 2-1. And then we're once again on the road against the Los Angeles Rams, who, as I mentioned earlier, I think is going to be a really good team. Matthew Stafford. I mean, he's Matthew Stafford. Kyron Williams, so good. Blake Corum, Michigan man, gotta love it. Shout out, last 4 years beat Ohio State. What's up? Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. Low-key forgot Devontae was in LA. That makes it even scarier. Tutu Atwell, very underrated receiver. Doesn't get much love. Then you have Tyler Higbee. Really good tight end. Pretty sure he just got an extension this offseason. Excuse me. Yeah, pretty sure Tyler Higbee got himself an extension this offseason. They've upgraded the offensive line in LA. And then on defense, of course, the young dogs that they drafted last year, Braden Fisk. And, am I tripping? There it is. They have him in as a linebacker. I was going to say it's not Byron Young. Yeah, Jared Verse, who of course last year had a nice rookie year. Braden Fisk did as well. Those two as a tandem coming out of college, both from Florida State, coming out together, getting drafted by the Rams, both really effective, which was predictable, at least for Braden Fisk. I knew Braden Fisk was going to be good. Jared Verse, I thought the jury was still out on him. I wanted to see how his skill set translated to the NFL, and how that would look, specifically in the Gus Bradley defense, as we were talking about the draft last year. Didn't really think he fit us necessarily. But obviously the Rams had a plan for him and made it work really well. Then in the secondary, they re-signed Akila Witherspoon. Cameron Curl's good. Darius Williams is dog. So they got some guys in the secondary. Really underrated defense. Honestly, I thought they've been solid. They have really good coaching. Sean McVay is a guy that just going to continue to have a really good culture, right? Build good habits for his football teams. So this is going to be a really hard game. And this is going to be a hard team to stop. Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua. That's going to be a problem, man. That's going to be a problem. It's going to be a challenge for this secondary. But in week 4, as the season goes on, the defense continues to get better. We're a month into the season. We start to find a groove. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if our defense comes out and completely owns the line of scrimmage. That's how we would win this game. And it's so hard to call. Do I think we'll win? Do I think we'll lose? Like, my initial reaction is we're going to lose to the Rams in LA. I think that's a deciding factor here, is like being on the road in LA. See, this is another 4 o'clock game, um, which is 1 o'clock. On the West Coast, 4 o'clock for the Colts. It'll be a mid-afternoon game. Man, this is a tough one. For me, I think I'm going to go with a loss. I think I'm going to go with us going 2-2. I could honestly see another overtime game here with the Rams, just like we did in AR's rookie year. Yeah. Man. Yeah. Until I see otherwise, I'm going to go with a loss here. I'm going to go with a loss, and we're going to be 2-2. Never mind. Nope, I'm not. No. I think the secondary is going to be better. I think we got the dogs on defense, bro. I think we slow down this offense. I do. I think we have the dogs on the defensive line. I think we slow down this offense. We're going to go 3-1 to start the year. We're gonna beat the Dolphins, lose to the Broncos, but we're gonna win our first 2 road games and start this season 3-1. That's how I feel like this year is gonna start for the Colts. First month, 3-1. Confidence is going to really help win early. A good thing. Yeah, 100%. Got to be able to win early. Want to be able to rip off some games early. Just like we do here, right? I think that's going to be a big deal, and I think the Colts are able to continue to stack as we continue to go. So, Emmanuel coming in with a $10 donation. That's crazy. Appreciate you, brother. Hell yeah. So we start off bad. Would you throw the C and draft Arch Manning fantasy trade? Like a pick. And get Marvin Jr. Interesting. So, okay, so let's say through the first 4 weeks, instead of 3-1, we start 1-3, right? We lose to the Dolphins. We lose to the Rams, and we lose to the Broncos, but we're able to beat the Titans. We start 1-3. You certainly have to question it. And I think there's real conversation to be had if you don't start the year well. Then, yeah, you got to start thinking, because if you don't start the year well, it's likely because your quarterbacks aren't doing the job. And if the quarterbacks aren't getting the job done, then is there somebody that sees enough in Anthony Richardson to take him off your hands? Right? And what else do you sell at that point? Right? How far do you go trying to get rid of talent, acquire draft picks, tank in the most traditional way possible by just offloading talent, and try to find a way to get at least enough draft capital to get up to where you can get Arch Manning in the draft? Now, as amazing as it'd be to have Arch Manning, I will continue to say I want AR to succeed. I do. If AR becomes great, Colts football is going to be the most electrifying football atmosphere of all time. I want that so much. Okay, so that's where I am. I hope it works. And I hope we're not in a place where we want to go get Arch Manning. And right, if he doesn't want to go pro after this season and we're bad, then and we try to have that strategy, then it's all for nothing, right? So, yeah. Yeah, overall, no. So at the end of the day, no. Now, fantasy trade, Michael in a pick and get Marvin Jr. I assume that's Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman Jr. in a pick to get Marvin Jr. Yeah, honestly, I'd probably do that. To be honest with, like, if I was the one with Michael Pittman Jr. and I wanted to get Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah, or are you talking real life? I'm sitting here. It's fantasy football season in my head. You're probably talking fantasy trade, like in a fantasy world. There's a trade where it's Michael Pittman Jr. and a pick to get Marvin Jr. and have Arch Manning. Okay, so I just figured out what you're saying altogether. That would be incredible. It would be. But again, I'll continue to fall back on I hope not because I want AR to work. Is really where I lie on that whole situation. Two and two. I won't forget. Hope we start 3-1 though. Warriors playing against NFC West teams, so that could be. That's actually a really good point. Yeah, being familiar with Puka Nacua. That's a really good point. So, yeah, it makes me even more confident, to be honest with you. So, yeah, keep me at 3-1. And then again, we get the Raiders at home. Looking at the Raiders, they definitely got better. Geno Smith, Aston Genty, Jacoby Myers, really underrated receiver. Jack Beck is supposed to be really good. I'm not going to sit here act like I know all their other players. But they have Brock Bowers. They upgraded their offensive line. This isn't, a stellar offensive line. But I do think they'll be top half, right? Average at worst. And then on defense, I thought they've done a good job to acquire talent on the defensive side. Jeremy Chin, Eric Stokes, some good additions. They've got kind of like the way they've put this roster together is like the land of misfit toys. Geno Smith, Jacoby Myers, Colton Miller, Dylan Parham, Jackson Powers Johnson, Devin White, Jeremy Chin, Eric Stokes, like the people that they've acquired to put on this team, like, again, a good collection of talent. Like, I can't even hate. The Raiders have been a joke for a while, but they've done well. But this roster's not good enough to beat us. It's just not. Especially not at home. Especially for a West Coast team coming to Indy to play a 1 o'clock Eastern game. Give me that. That's a 10 o'clock in the morning game for the Raiders. Give me the Colts to start 4-1. Then you get the Cardinals, who continue to ascend. Actually, I'm sorry. I have not been doing a poll. You guys think the Titans are going to win. And I'm just going to assume we are in agreement on the Raiders. So what I should do is actually do it at the beginning. I should have done this all along and done it at the beginning. So we're just going to start it now where we have week 6. Colts. And of course, this is a game where you have Marvin Harrison Jr. coming to Indy, playing in Lucas Oil Stadium. Going to be an electrifying atmosphere. I mean, so many people are going to want to be at this game. For a 1 o'clock game, this game is going to go nuts. Does Peyton still do his camp? I'm pretty sure they still do the Manning camp, yeah. But yeah, this is going to be nuts. And this team continues to get better under Jonathan Gannon and that coaching staff. Right? Kyler Murray coming back healthy. And he looked good last year. Somebody that is electrifying. Like, having to play against him is mad annoying. Somebody that I think has his faults, but still one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. One of the better playmakers in the NFL. So definitely somebody to watch for. James Conner, Trey Benson, a good duo. Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Wilson, Greg Dortch, Zay Jones, a nice little quad there of wide receivers. Trey McBride getting broken off, a really good tight end. And then their offensive line, they continue to draft and bring people in through free agency. I mean, really, again, can't really hate on the Cardinals, man. And generally, I don't have a rooting interest one way or another. But they've acquired a lot of talent. Guys that I didn't even know were on: Sean Murphy Bunting, Baron Browning, Mac Wilson Jr., Josh Sweat. Honestly, forgot he was there. Zaven Collins is there. B.J. Ojolari's depth there. Dalvin Tomlinson. Like, they got names, man. Budda Baker, one of my favorite safeties, has been for a long time. Absolute dog. He's getting older, but really good player. A healthy Cardinals team is going to be a problem, man. Healthy's Cardinal team is going to be a tough matchup for us, for sure. But again, this is one that comes down to, I think our secondary is good enough and physical enough. I think that's going to be the key in this game specifically, is our secondary being physical enough to bully these wide receivers throughout the game. And I think it's going to affect them through the game. I think by the fourth quarter, they'll be gassed. So no matter what the game looks like, I think defense can have success in the fourth quarter of this game. This is a super early preview, but just what I think early on, looking from one roster to the other. Right? I think their offensive line's good, but I think our secondary can have a lot of success in this game. And I think we can force Kyler Murray in an aggressive style defense. I think we can force Kyler Murray into some mistakes in this game. So go give me another win through the first 6 weeks. At worst, at the absolute worst, Colts 3-3 in my opinion. The absolute best, Colts 5-1 through the first 6 weeks. Okay? That's how I feel. What do I do? Oopsie. Actually, let's see just in case you guys didn't see this. Cold, bro. Latu. This version of Latu, yeah. Scruffed up, bro, looks like not playing games. Latu, yeah, give me that. Give me all that. All right, what are we looking at here? Early signs point to the Cardinals for you guys, or the Colts beating the Cardinals. So then let's go week 7. Colts. And then the other game this goes is going to be at the Chargers. And who do you guys think wins? Just in case you don't know. Let's make sure we go over here, get this team in front of you guys. Of course, we have Justin Herbert. Let me move my mouse. It's getting annoying. So, of course, again, we have Justin Herbert. Najee Harris. They drafted Omarion Hampton, who I honestly don't know a whole lot about, but he was the second pick in my dynasty draft by somebody who knows college players, so I assume he knows what he's talking about. Didn't think about all the good tight. Yeah, we're playing a lot of good tight ends this year. Najee Harris, Omarion Hampton, Ladd McConkey, Mike Williams. They drafted Trey Harris, and I had read into him. Somebody who could overtake Quentin Johnston for that spot. Brennan Rice, somebody that I drafted last year in Dynasty. Never, I think, actually got an injury and had to miss the year. Currently, I was going 17. Honestly, dudes, it's hard to take away the bias sometimes. It really is. That's why I wanted to include, like, worst case, we're 3-3 through the first 6 weeks. We might lose to the Cardinals. We might lose to the Rams. I guess worst case 2-4 if we lose to the Dolphins. But I think 5-1 is okay. I think even coming out of there 4-2 out of the first 6 is okay. I think going through this offense, the offensive line is really where Harbaugh wants to build this team, and that's exactly what he did. Just looking at it, as long as those 5 guys are healthy, holy cow. Right? Mekhi Becton from going from tackle to guard, changed the trajectory of his career. And now, of course, the Eagles are the Eagles. But, I mean, now he's with Jim Harbaugh. This is a guy that if he stays at guard, plays for a decent amount of time at guard, and does a lot of what we saw him do last year, he could literally go from being a bust in his career to being a Hall of Famer. He was that good last year. And, I mean, he's ridiculously massive for a guy playing guard. And a guy that tried to have tackle athleticism, and now you put him in the interior. So, I'm kind of fanboying. I'm a big Jim Harbaugh guy. I love the way his defensive philosophy, the way he wants to win football games is smash mouth football, and I absolutely love it. You can see it on the front end too, bro. Deshaun Hand, Tier Tart, Tulu. I'm not going to act like I know how to say his full name, but dogs on the defensive line as well. It's just a lot of what they have now. And the secondary is a lot of unknowns for me. So I think that's where our advantage comes. Is maybe our offense is just able to put up too many points. I think if there's a weak spot for the Chargers, it's going to be in the defense. And as much as I want them to be good because I like Justin Herbert, and again, I really like Jim Harbaugh. I'm a Jim Harbaugh fan. Help Michigan win another championship. Shout out. I'd like to see Chargers be a playoff team. It's just every year, dude. And I think roster-wise, I think they got worse. So I think we're going to be able to beat the Chargers. So overall, Sko is going to be going to the Rams game and the Chargers game. I think you see us lose against the Rams, but I think you see us beat the Chargers, my friend. So overall, 6-1 through the first 7 weeks. And I already said we were going to beat Tennessee both times. Through week 8, 7-1 for the Colts. Who would have guessed? Who would have thought? Right? Insert Paul Rudd meme. Who would have thought? Excuse me. Now, what's important to note, as you look through the Colts schedule, if you're going to win a bunch of games and try to sneak into the playoffs, you should probably win a lot of these games up front. Okay, the back end of this schedule is nothing to play with. Once you come back from Germany, you have the Texans twice. Jaguars could be good, could not. They have a roster. They probably should be good, but Liam Cohen looked like such a doofus in his press conference, but he was good for the Bucs. So, who knows? They could go either way. San Francisco typically has a lot of injuries. What will they be by week 16? Seattle had a lot of turnover, but I don't know about Seattle. But again, after the bye week, every one of those games, you could make an argument for a loss. And we're not there yet. But just looking at it, being 7-1 right now, it's what you need. Right? Lawrence out here saying 6-1 won't happen. And you very easily could be right, dude. You very easily could be right. right? By the time we get to beating the Titans in week 8, we could be 2-6. We could be 3-5, 4-4. 100%. But think about how up and down Anthony's been, how up and down this team has been, how bad the defense has been. Last couple of years, we still went 9-8 and 8-9, and we were an embarrassment, and we're still middle of the pack. So you're telling me if the development of all our young guys, specifically our quarterback, Shane's culture continuing to get ingrained and continuing to move forward and get better as time goes. Where I'm at, and of course I'm just an optimistic fan and I'm hopeful, but I just don't see a way where it can get worse. If it gets worse, call me out and by all means blow it all up. But you got to get better. We have so many of the same people, same coaches. And I just have faith that the quarterback being better will make everything better. The defense being better will help the offense be better, and vice versa. 6-1 probably won't happen. But to say it won't happen, I'm not going to allow it. I'm not going to allow it. Got to stay positive. That's right. We got a long time till the NFL season gets here. I don't want to be doom and gloom in May and June, you know. I want to have a little hope, brother. Oh, this is writing on what happened. Yeah, 100%. Like anything we talk about will always come back to AR has to do it. 100% will always fall back on that. But especially for the veterans on the channel, so like everybody hopping in here, I know you guys know how I feel about this. I think AR finally getting the chance to train and really train to get better is going to be the best thing for him. And I think it's going to be the best thing for this team. I think we're going to be a dangerous team going into the year. I think we're going to be, overlooked by a lot of people because of how the last couple of years have gone, because of how AR has looked in the past. But I think we're going to be able to surprise a lot of people. I think our defense will be top 10. Me too. Honestly, I do too. By the end of the year, I think we're going to be one of the most dangerous. If you say from week, we'll just say after the bye week is tough, actually. The only reason we wouldn't be top 10 is because we're playing some incredible offenses this year. When you think about Dolphins, Broncos, Rams, Raiders could be a really good offense. Cardinals could be a really good offense. Chargers could be a really good offense. Falcons could be a really good offense. Then you have the Chiefs, the Texans. Jaguars could be a really good offense. Seattle, we'll see. San Francisco should be a really good offense. Like, our defense is going to have a challenge, dude. Gus Bradley's defense would easily be 32nd out of 32nd against this schedule. Easily. Lou Anarumo, I'm not going to sit here and say Lou Anarumo, he's the best, because people are going to drop numbers on you. But Lou Anarumo, massive upgrade, and I think is going to pay massive dividends for us this year. Yes. What Daniel just said in the chat is exactly what everybody needs to see. 6-1, 1-6 are both possible, so until they start playing the games, I will choose to be optimistic. I echo that sentiment. I don't think I can drop a like on your guys' comments, but I agree. I agree. Yeah, and again, Quarterback, dude. It all comes back to quarterback mistakes, managing the game. Who got next? Who got next? Try to move along with this. What's it been? Hour 15. So it's 8:15 right now. I know it's Sunday night, so I'm going to go a little quicker with this for you guys. Steelers. As I sit here and say we're going to go a little quicker, let's do this. They have Mason Rudolph as their starting quarterback. I don't care if we're in Pittsburgh or not. If we lose this game, we're a joke. Now, I do think Will Howard has potential to be a good NFL quarterback. I will say that. If he's a starter by that time, I do think it's a more challenging game. But just looking at the rest of this team, like, there's no reason we should lose to this team. There's just not. I think it would be a hard game for our offense, but we should beat the Steelers. 7-1. Falcons are interesting. Ooh. Michael Penix Jr., what's he going to be this year? They also have Kirk Cousins, Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, one of the best duos in the league. London, Mooney, Ray McLeod, Kadero Hodge, Kyle Pitts. And then the offensive line, which recently was pretty lackluster. We'll see what they can do this upcoming season. On the defensive side, they've tried to make some upgrades here. Yeah, here they go. They drafted James Pierce. They have Leonard Floyd. It'll be interesting to see who starts there and what. I think James Pierce is going to be really good in the NFL. But overall, this defense was really disappointing last year. I just don't know if it's going to change a whole lot. Overall, when you look at the Falcons, there are people that are so optimistic about them. I just don't know if I am, dude. I just don't know if I am. There are pieces on this team that I like, but in Germany, I don't think we lose to the Falcons in Germany. Like, in going into the bye week after 10 weeks, being 9-1 seems massively unrealistic in my head. But when you look at the beginning of the schedule, I think it's just as realistic as it is unrealistic. I'm just going to keep it at that. And then you have the bye week, week 11. Okay, 9-1. Then you have the Chiefs. Fun fact. Patrick Mahomes, only team in the NFL he has a losing record to in the regular season is the Indianapolis Colts. He's 2-1. And I'm not going to lie to you, this is a pretty scary Chiefs team. I didn't even realize they had Gardner Minshew. When did they sign Gardner Minshew? That's kind of hilarious. Sco dropping in with a $2 donation. Appreciate you, brother. Oh. Coming in with the dono, man. My guy. We undefeated against them in the regular season. Are we undefeated in the regular season? I couldn't remember what the stat was off the top of my head. Yeah, like, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. It doesn't matter what the situation is. Playoffs, regular season. Doesn't matter what quarterback is in. Doesn't matter how much we're down in the playoffs. Chiefs don't beat the Colts. We're going to beat the Chiefs in week 12. And we're going to start 11-1 coming off the bye. Cause Stone Cold said so. I'm watching a lot of WWE clips lately. Realistically, yeah. Is that going to be a tough game? Yeah. True. Lou Anarumo has given Mahomes issues for years. So, like, am I being a homer? Yeah. But do I really think we can beat the Chiefs? Yeah. I do. So at this point, like, of course, my predictions at the moment, 11-1. When you look at this realistically, like, I could see us also being 8-3 after 11 games. If we're going to be more realistic, like, we could lose to the Broncos, the Rams, and the Chiefs. I do like us in the rest of these. Like, as I sit here and look at it, like, I do like us in the rest of these. Right? So after the first 2/3 of the season, sitting at even 8-3, and then you get the Texans. We know a lot about the Texans. C.J. Stroud, Joe Mixon, Nico Collins, the Colt Killer, Christian Kirk going from one AFC South team to another, Tank Dell, electrifying athlete, Dalton Schultz, my man, that's exactly right. We do deserve to be homers right now. Sky is the limit. I love that. Not determined by the first 8 games being division games like the last 3 years. Yeah, exactly, Lawrence, exactly. Getting all the division games up front. 1 second. Let me make sure there's nothing happening on the business side of things. Yeah, nothing too crazy there. So, looking at the Texans, okay, 2 games against the Texans. This offensive line, I think, is a place where we can expose them and where the Texans are going to have a lot of issues. I think they've tried to replace pieces, but overall, I think what they've done is make things worse for their quarterback. Which is going to make, again, it's going to make things harder for everything. Now, their defense is going to be tough. Of course, we know their defensive coaching is good. You look at their defense, it's kind of ridiculous, man. Will Anderson Jr., Neil Hunter, Danico Autry is a depth piece. Mario Edwards is up here as a depth piece. Sheldon Rankins is a depth piece. Don't know how to say old boy's name, Folo. He's good on the interior. The linebacker, Henry, Tuo, however you want to say his name, E.J. Speed, not even slated to be a starter. Azeez Al-Shaair, Derek Stingley Jr., one of the best young corners, just got broke off this offseason. Jalen Petrie, really good. Kamir Lassiter, really good. Like, their corner, if you remember last year, their corners ridiculously sticky in coverage, man. So good. C.J. Gardner-Johnson ahead on the depth chart in front of Jimmy Ward. Really good veteran. Ronald Darby, like they have pieces as starters. They have pieces. Their depth is ridiculous on defense. Derek Barnett even on defense. But on offense, it's going to be their weak point is actually going to be their offense because they made things worse off for their quarterback. Unless they change things for their offense. I don't know if they even changed their offensive line coach. Here, let me. As it's getting darker, the light on my face looks like it's getting crazier. Let's back that off. Let's do this. Kind of move some things around here. Looking a little crazy there. Okay. But yeah, man, I just think like their offensive line coach was our offensive line coach when our offensive line was as bad as it's been in a long time. So overall, I think defensively we're going to be able to take advantage of them in this game. And it's tough. Like initially, I want to say we split these games, and we'll take the home game, and they'll take their home game. Because I really think it's going to be. But their defense is so good, it could win them games. Their defense is so good, it could win them a game against us. So that I am going to do that. I'm going to give us a home game. I'm going to give them the home game, and that's what we're going to do there. Going to make it simple. We split with Houston, home and home. Then Jacksonville. And I don't know a whole lot of what to expect. I don't know how I ended up doing that. I don't know how Liam Cohen's offense is going to look with the pieces that they have. Because they have guys that coming into the NFL I thought were going to be stars. Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby, Brian Thomas Jr. I thought all these guys were going to be really good coming in. They went out and got Travis Hunter. Their offensive line looks different. And I don't know if they upgraded or downgraded. My initial reaction is they downgraded. Tight end, they downgraded. Wide receiver just seems like over time they've downgraded. Like paying Trevor Lawrence seems to have been what did them in. And paying Josh Hines Allen. I mean, on paper, their defense should be really good. They definitely have some names on defense, so that could be their strong suit. That could be what they hang their hat on. Are they a top 12 defense? It's hard to get past Liam Cohen looking like a doofus, and the fact that their roster from year to year looks way worse this year. I'm going to say we beat them both times. I'm going to say we end the week 1 curse and we end the Jacksonville curse. And I think we beat them both times. Right? So even through, if we did lose to Kansas City and the Rams, right? Worst case scenario for me, 8-3 through the first 11 games. So then you're 9-4 when you split with the Texans. Now you're 11-4 when you beat Jacksonville twice. And then you have Seattle. Now, we all need to go look at Seattle. There's a lot of change in Seattle. Even some coaching change for them. I believe they changed offensive coordinators as well. Sam Darnold, of course, really good year last year. Fell apart at the end, though. Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, have them both on my dynasty team as a handcuff. Really like both of them. JSN, Smith and Jigba. They got Cooper Kupp. MVS also there. So they're getting a lot of hyphenated players. MVS could be really good. Jake Bobo, I know, was making plays last year. Then who they have? They have Noah Fant. They drafted Elijah Arroyo. Charles Cross. Then they have Zabel. They have Lucas out there. So their offensive line is pretty good, at least at the tackles. This is a game where I don't know their interior enough to know, but I think our interior defensive line can eat in this game from looking at it. I think Grove and Buck can have their way and can really have an impact here and can make Sam Darnold have to beat him. You get into a situation like that, I think that favors us. Then when you look at the defense, they got DeMarcus Lawrence. Interesting. They got Jonathan Hankins, Leonard Williams. So up front, they're good. Ernest Jones keeps going from team to team. I actually think he went from Seattle to Tennessee back to Seattle. Corners, obviously, Reek Woolen, Devin Witherspoon. They have good corners on the outside. They have a guy named Tyler Hall. That's hilarious. I have a cousin named Tyler Hall. I actually live with my cousin named Tyler Hall. That's kind of hilarious. Kobe Bryant at safety. He's good. They drafted Nick Emirari. That's definitely just butchered that, but a lot of people were talking about him coming out of this draft as a really good safety. Josh Jobe, Julian Love. Like, at least this defense, yeah. I think this defense looks pretty tough. I want to say their offense is going to be tough, dude. I got to see more from Sam Darnold. I got to see more from Sam Darnold. And I think our defense is going to be tough. Like, I don't think Sam Darnold can piece up our defense. Especially at the end of the year, the way I think our defense is going to look by the end of the year, I don't know if Sam Darnold's piecing up our defense like that. So, go and give me a win there. Right? So that's what, 11-12? 12-4. As we talk about the last game we have to talk about, which is Monday Night Football, the Colts' prime time game in Lucas Oil Stadium. December 22nd, 3 days before Christmas. The Colts get an early Christmas present. Monday Night Football against the San Francisco 49ers. And what will they be? Brock Purdy just got broken off $53 million a year. They traded Deebo Samuel to the Washington Commanders. Make sure you guys are drinking your water, by the way. Brock Purdy, I forgot they signed Mac Jones. Shanahan was in love with Mac Jones coming out of the draft. And they got him. McCaffrey, Isaac, Gruendo. This is the Indy guy, right? Was raised in Indy or something like that. Gruendo, and then was able to start for Christian, or instead of Christian McCaffrey at some point last year, and had a really good game. Brandon Ayuk, Juwan Jennings, who is just a really solid receiver. Ricky Pearsall came back from being shot last year, had a good season. Demarcus Robinson, just a solid depth piece at wide receiver. George Kittle, Kyle Juszczyk. I believe George Kittle got paid big-time money. Big Trent Williams. That's really going to be a huge question mark for them. Can he stay healthy? If he is, he's dominant and he's going to be a hard matchup. But the rest of this offensive line continues to go downhill. And I think it's going to continue to go downhill because they had to pay Brock Purdy. That's the big issue for them. And I could be wrong, man. I could just not know these guys. But from where they were a couple years ago and the guys that I knew they had, that's where we could expose the Niners. And that's where Brock Purdy could have a really hard time. But they have Christian McCaffrey, and Kyle Shanahan is calling plays. Then on the defensive side, I mean, oh boy, looking at this defense, the talent is now again. I just don't know a lot of these names. They've clearly gone young. They have Dallas Flowers on their team, but I do know that they have Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh as the defensive coordinator last time he was with them was really good. Gross Matos was effective for them last year. If he's listed as a depth piece, I assume, part of, this Michael Williams is probably pretty good for them. Going to be effective in the rotation. Again, I expect Saleh to be okay with his defense. They still have Fred Warner. You have a really smart quarterback on the defense as a middle linebacker, then that can help solve a lot of problems on defense. So this is going to be a we'll see sort of thing. They lost to Funga in the secondary. Like, we'll see. But, again, between injuries and, of course, what injuries are the Colts dealing with at this point. So that's a little unfair, but, like, it is what it is for Niners. Like, they usually are one of the most injured teams. And even without that caveat, dude, this particular 49ers roster, I think we can beat. So, there's a world where we win 13 games. There's a world where, because the Chiefs can never beat us, there's a world where we win 14 games. I believe a ref just got his face busted open in this hockey game, I think. Down holding his face right now. Waiting to see the replay. But, right, 13 is, like, at most. Realistically, like, if we didn't win 10 games, I'd be pretty disappointed in this season. I'm not going to lie. With our schedule, if we didn't win 10 games, I'd be pretty disappointed. I think 10 or 11 is a pretty realistic thing. Okay, this ref just got smacked in the face with a stick. Oh, inadvertent shot to the eye. Oh, brother. Hope he's going to be all right. Holy cow. But, yeah, I think overall, man, a winning record has to happen. Now, we've been here long enough. I hope you guys stick with me. I want to get another poll out to you guys. How early, how many games will the Colts win this season? Let's go 1 to 4, 5 to 8, 9 to 11, 12 plus. All right. Now, if you guys could hit up that poll for me, let me know what you think. How many will the Colts win? What did I just do here? Yeah, get back to you guys. Okay. All right, there we go. We're back. Okay. So, I want to get a accurate representation. So I'm going to move me up here. Give me the pencil here. So we're going to say W. Hold on, let me. back. Can I change the color? Oh, I can change the color. Okay, yeah, give me that. So I'm going to say Dolphins, we win. Broncos, we lose. We win. We lose. We win. We win. We win. We win. We win. We win. And the bye week. Benefit of the doubt to the champs or the dynasty. I'll say Patrick Mahomes finally gets us. We beat the Texans at home. Lose on the road. But we break the curse and we win. And then we win. We beat Seattle. And then we win on Monday night. So overall, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13-4. Let me actually come over here, get my cursor back. Bring this back. See if I can fit this all the way in here. Boom. Need that just so I can have for social media. Okay. I think the Colts go 13-4. Going through all the different rosters, looking at what other teams have. Now, of course, it's 13-4 with the assumption everybody stays healthy, which is unrealistic. Right? We might win games we shouldn't because of injuries. We might lose games we shouldn't because of injuries. The NFL season is unpredictable, but it's May, and I'm excited. I'm hopeful. I can't wait for the season to get here. I'm optimistic. 13 games might be a little much, but I think 10 or 11 very realistic. See what you guys are saying. We got 9 votes here, and it seems like you guys agree. Still kind of middle of the pack here at 9-11. Yeah, I think 10 is a good number for us. 10 or 11 is a good number. 13 would be incredible. 13 is the dream season. That's where I'm at. Appreciate you guys. Those of you that donated through this, appreciate you guys so much. Of course, you guys know it's not why we do this, but I appreciate you guys for stopping by. I appreciate you guys for supporting the channel as we continue to go. Always make sure to hit that like button if you enjoy the content. Incredible way to support the channel. Subscribing. Incredible way to support the channel. Interacting in any way with the videos. You just want to support the channel, hit the like button. If you watch a video, you don't want to, take part in the conversation, just say hey, right? Just leave a comment. Just however you interact with the video is a great way to support the channel. And we'll continue to do this every Sunday. Just pop in, even if it's not even talking about football, just to talk to you guys, for 20 or 30 minutes. Want to come in, want to be able to interact with you guys more, want to be able to do more with you guys and keep you guys engaged and keep myself engaged, right? Peace out to all you guys. Appreciate you guys stopping by. We got Pacers games coming up, and we got more Colts content coming. So it's going to be good. You guys have a great rest of your Sunday night. Get some good rest. I appreciate you guys so much for stopping by. As always, take care of yourself. Take care of each other.